Chapter 7 Structural Organization in Animals. In unicellular organisms, all functions like digestion, respiration, and reproduction are performed by a single cell. In the complex body of multicellular animals, the same basic functions are carried out by different groups of cells in a well organized manner. The body of a simple organisms like Hydra is made up of different types of cells, and the number of cells in each type can be in thousands. The human body is composed of billions of cells to perform various functions. In multicellular animals, a group of similar cells along with intercellular substances perform a-specific functions. Such an organization is called the tissue. The study of tissue is called histology. Histology is called microscopic anatomy, microanatomy. All complex animals consist of only 4 basic types of tissues. These tissues are organized in specific proportion and pattern to form an organ like stomach, lungs, heart, and kidney. When two or more organs perform a common function by their physical and or chemical interaction, they together form organ systems, example digestive system, respiratory system, etc. Cells, tissues, organs, and organ systems split up their work in a way that exhibits division of labor and contribute to a survival of the bodies as a whole. Animal tissues. The structure of cells vary according to their function. Therefore, the tissues are differentiated and broadly classified into 4 types: epithelial, connective, muscular, and neural. Epithelial tissues is derived from either ectoderm, mesoderm, or endoderm, while connective and muscular tissues derived from mesoderm and nervous tissue derived from ectoderm. Epithelial tissue. An epithelial tissue is commonly referred to as epithelium, plural epithelia. Epithelial tissue is the first evolved tissue and also first formed in embryo. Epithelial tissue is derived from all 3 10-germ layers: epidermis of skin from microderm, coelomic epithelium from mesoderm, and epithelial lining of alimentary canal from endoderm. This tissue has a free surface which faces either a body fluid or outside environmental, thus provide a covering or a line of some part of the body. The cells are completely packed with the intercellular matrix. Epithelial cells are usually rest on thin, non-cellular basement membrane. There are 2 types of epithelial tissue, namely simple epithelium and compound epithelium. Simple epithelium is composed of single layer of cells and functions as a lining for body cavities, ducts, and tube. The compound epithelium consists of 2 or more cell layers and has a protective function as it does in our skin. One simple epithelium, unilayered epithelium. On the basis of structural modification of the cells, simple epithelium is further divided into 3 types. These are squamous, cuboidal, and columnar. Squamous epithelium. The squamous epithelium, pavement epithelium, is made up of single thin layer of flattened cells with irregular boundaries. Example, they are found in the walls of blood vessels and the air sacs of lungs and are involved in function like forming a diffusion boundary. Very important. Epithelial lining of the blood vessels is called the endothelium. Coelomic epithelium is simple squamous and is called mesothelium. Bowman's capsules in kidney, alveoli of lung. Second, the columnar epithelium. The cuboidal epithelium is composed of a single layer of tubes like cell. These commonly found in ducts of glands and tubular parts of nephrons in kidneys, and its main functions are secretion and absorption. The epithelium of proximal convoluted tubule of PCT of nephron in the kidney has microvilli. Example, germinal epithelium, ovaries, and seminiferous tube of testes. Third, columnar epithelium. The columnar epithelium is composed of a single layer of tall and slender cells. The nuclei are located at the base of free surface may have macrovilli. They are found in the lining of stomach and intestine and help in secretion and absorption. Example, gut epithelium from stomach to anus, gastric gland, and intestinal glands. If the columnar or cuboidal cell bears cilia on their surface, they are called as ciliated epithelium. Ciliated epithelium. Their function is to move particles of the mucus in specific direction over the epithelium. They are mainly present in the inner surface of hollow organs like bronchioles and fallopian tubes. Simple ciliated columnar epithelium, example, lining of fallopian tube and respiratory tract, lining of central canal of spinal cord and the ventricles of brain, tympanic cavity of middle ear and eustachian tube. Pseudostratified epithelium. Pseudostratified epithelium. This is unilayered but appearance is multilayered. Cells are columnar. Pseudostratified columnar epithelium. Example, urethra of male. Pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium, trachea and bronchi, vas deferens and epidermis, nasal cavity. Glandular epithelium. Some of the columnar or cuboidal cells get specialized for secretion and are called glandular epithelium. They are mainly of 2 types: unicellular, consisting of isolated glandular cells, goblet cells of the alimentary canal, and multicellular, consisting of clusters of cells, salivary gland. Goblet cells are also called mucous cells or mucocytes and secrete mucus. On the basis of mode of pouring these secretions, glands are divided into 2 categories, namely exocrine and endocrine. Exocrine glands secrete mucus, saliva, earwax, oil, milk, digestive enzymes, and other products. These products are released through ducts or tubes. In contrast, endocrine glands do not have ducts. Their product called hormones are secreted directly into the fluid baiting the glands. Mode of secretion. On the basis of mode of secretion, the glands are of 3 types: merocrine or epicrine glands, no loss of cells on their part and secretion, example, goblet cells, intestinal glands, salivary glands, most sweat glands, pancreas. Apocrine glands, secretory product accumulation in apical part of the cells which later breaks off, example, mammary glands and some sweat glands. 3. Holocrine glands, entire cell is disintegrated during secretion, example, sebaceous gland. Second, compound epithelium. Compound epithelium is made up more than one layer, multi-layered of cells, and thus has a limited role in secretion and absorption. Their main function is to provide protection against chemical and mechanical stresses. They cover the dry surface area of the skin, the moist surfaces of buccal cavity, pharynx, inner lining of duct, of salivary glands, and of pancreatic duct. Compound epithelium are of two types: stratified and transitional. Stratified epithelium. Deepest layer is made up of columnar or cuboidal cells. It is of three types: stratified squamous epithelium. Superficial layers are flat or squamous. It is of two types: keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. Superficial layers becomes dead due to presence of keratin. Keratinization. Example: stratum corneum or horny layer of skin. Non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium do not have keratin. Oral cavity, buccal cavity, tongue, pharynx, lung, vocal cords, esophagus, lower part of urethra, vagina, cervix, cornea. Stratified cuboidal epithelium. Example: female urethra, conjunctiva. Third, stratified columnar epithelium, ducts of parotid and mammary gland. Transitional epithelium, urothelium. Basement of membrane is absent, adapted for distension. Walls of urinary bladder, ureters, and upper part of urethra, renal pelvis. Specialized junctions. All the cells in epithelium are held together with little intercellular material. In nearby all animal tissues, specialized junctions provide both structural and functional links between its individual cells. Three types of cell junctions are found in epithelium and other tissues. They are called as tight, adhering, and gap junction. Tight junctions, zonula occludens, helps to stop substances from leaking across the tissue. Adhering junctions perform cementing to keep neighboring cells together. Adhering junctions are of two types: zonula adherens, macula adherens, desmosomes. Gap functions facilitate these cells to communicate with each other by connecting the cytoplasm of adjoining cells for rapid transfer of ions, small molecules, and sometimes big molecules. Connective tissue. Connective tissues are most abundant and widely distributed in the body of complex animals. Derived from mesoderm of embryo, they are named connective tissues because of the special functions of linking and supporting other tissues organs of the body. They range from soft connective tissues to specialized types, which include cartilage, bone, adipose, and blood. In all connective tissues except blood, the cell secretes fibers of structural protein called collagen or elastin. The fibers provide strength, elasticity, and flexibility to the tissue. Collagen fibers or wheat or white fibers are made up of collagen protein and are unbranched and inelastic. Elastic fibers or yellow fibers are made up of elastin protein and are branched and elastic. Collagen is the most abundant protein in animal world. Connective tissue city. Loose connective tissue composed of areolar tissue, adipose tissue, areolar beneath the skin and adipose beneath the skin. Dense connective tissue, dense regular, dense irregular. Dense irregular is the skin and dense regular is tendons and ligaments. Specialized CT, cartilage, bone, and blood. These cells also secrete modified polysaccharides which accumulate between cells and fibers and act as matrix, ground substance. The most common ground substance is hyaluronic acid, mucopolysaccharide. Connective tissues are classified into three types: loose connective tissue, dense connective tissue, and specialized connective tissue. Loose connective tissue. Loose connective tissues has cells and fibers loosely arranged in a semi-fluid ground substance. For example, areolar tissue, most widely distributed connective tissue in animal body, present beneath the skin. Macrophage, fibroblasts, collagen fibers, and mast cell. Often it serves as a supportive framework for epithelium. It contains fibroblasts, cells that produce and secrete fibers, macrophages, and mast cells. Adipose tissues is another type of loose connective tissue located mainly beneath the skin. The cells of this tissue are specialized to store fat. The excess of nutrients which are not used immediately are converted into fats and are stored in this tissue. Dense connective tissue. Fibers and fibroblasts are compactly packed in a dense connective tissue. Orientation of fibers show regular or irregular patterns and are called as dense or regular or dense irregular tissue. In the dense regular connective tissues and the collagen fibers are present in rows between many parallel bundles of fibers. Dense regular tendons which attach skeletal muscles to bone and ligaments which attach one bone to another. Examples of this ligament tissue. Tendon is made of modified white fibrous tissue. Sprain is due to pulling of ligaments. Dense irregular connective tissue has fibroblasts and many fibers, mostly collagen, that are oriented differently. This tissue is present in the skin. Third, specialized connective tissue. Cartilage, bones, and blood are various types of specialized connective tissue. Some special points. Mammary glands are the modification of sweat glands. Sweat glands are primarily connected with regulation of body temperature or dissipation of body heat. Sebaceous glands secrete oily substances to make body smooth and waterproof. Layers of skin, two-part: epidermis and dermis. Epidermis is the outermost layer made up of stratified or compound epithelium. Epidermis have 5 layers: stratum malpighi, stratum germinatum, dividing layer of the columnar cells. This layer contains melanoblast. Stratum spinosum or speckled cell layer. Stratum granulosum contains keratohyalin. Stratum lucidum contains ellatin protein which makes cell waterproof, also called barrier layer. 5. Corneum. Contain keratin. In dinosaurs horn is formed of stratum corneum. In frog, epidermis is 3 layered, innermost as malpighi, middle as transitionally, and outermost as corneum. Dermis. Dermis of frogs has 2 parts: upper as spongiosum and lower as compactum. S. spongiosum of the frog has 2 kinds of glands: mucus gland and poison gland. Mammalian skin is without mucus glands. Pigmentation of skin is due to melanocytes. Organ and organ system. Basically, the tissue four types organized to form organs, which in turn associate to form organ system in multicellular organisms. Such an organization is essential for more efficient and better coordinated activity of millions of cells constituting an organism. Each organ in our body is made of more one type of tissues. For example, a heart consists of all four types of tissue: epithelial, connective, muscular, and neural. We also notice that after some careful study, that the complexity of an organs and organ system displays certain discernible trends. This discernible trends is called evolutionary trend.